Okay, students, so this is the tutorial for the criteria of evidence, either on your forum discussions and or your final writing assignment. One of the first questions we need to ask is why evidence and how are we using evidence in these assignments? And so the first thing is that you want to avoid paraphrasing. And the idea is to respond to the question or prompt and use multiple sources, either additional research and or the assigned materials, and you're synthesizing the ideas and the arguments and conclusions from those materials, multiple materials, in addition to your own personal experience in relation to the prompt. And then you're critically thinking, using your critical thinking skills, and then coming up with your own arguments and or conclusions in relation to the question or prompt. And so again, you'll be either using assigned materials and or additional research. Okay. The second question is, what are assigned materials? And those are the materials that are found in each unit of your course. So where can we access those? If we're looking here at a home page of a typical Canvas homepage of one of my courses, you can click on a unit and the list of readings and or documentaries are listed here. These are assigned materials, and then you can press next, like flipping pages in a book, to then access those assigned materials. The other way that you can access those is you go over to the left here for modules. Then again, if we went to that same unit, here's a list of those assigned materials. Again, these are chapters out of books, newspaper clips, journal articles, and or documentaries. Now, for most of the assignments, you can use assigned materials from any unit that has been opened up thus far in the semester. So if we're already on week 8 or 9, you can use, let's say we're on this unit here, Asian American Movement. You can use the assigned materials in this unit and or any of the previous units. Okay, so these are assigned materials. That is different from additional research. Now, additional research would be journal articles, government websites, newspaper clips, and or documentaries that you use outside or in addition to the assigned materials. So you want to read the directions carefully to understand, does the assignment require me to use assigned materials and or researched materials? Okay, and then the assignment will indicate how many pieces of evidence do you need to use minimum in your assignment. So what does that look like when you're citing these materials on the assignment? We'll take an example here, and very quickly we see here the first piece of evidence that this test student used was a documentary called Why Are There So Many Filipino Nurses in the U.S.? And you can see here, per instruction, the quote is here with parentheses, in parentheses, and then the last name of the director and the time indicated of this particular piece of evidence. If you don't use the last name of the director, you can simply put the title of the documentary in parentheses, again indicating the time. Okay, here is another example here. You have cited twice the same author, and again in parentheses, here's the quote. as evidence, and then the last name of the author. Okay, same thing down here. You have this quote here as evidence in parentheses, and then the last name of the author and the page number. So these ones up here actually would be marked incorrect or need revisions because you want to add the page number of the parenthesis. Okay. Now, one thing to take note, that the instructions will indicate to you how many different authors and or documentaries do you need to use as evidence. Usually it's either 3 to 4, and so you want to pay attention to that. You don't want to be using the same author for every piece of evidence or the same documentary for every piece of evidence. You want to use multiple resources, at least 3 or 4, and so this particular student fulfills that requirement. They are using a documentary here, and then they have this author, last name is Powell, and then this author here, last name is David. Okay, so that shows me that you can pull from multiple sources to come to your arguments and conclusions. And then the final step here is to then list your sources at the end of your post and or final writing assignment. For the forum discussions, it's very simple. You put the name of the chapter and or the book or the newspaper clip or the government website, and then you list the author. Again, here the name of the article in the New York Times, and then the last name of the author. Okay. That is for the forum discussions. And then for the final writing assignments, the requirements are need to meet college level expectations, and therefore for the final writing assignment, when you list your cited sources, you're going to be using MLA format. Okay, and that will be introduced and explained to you in the final writing assignment.